Alright, welcome back to my second Destiny video. Maybe my second, I don't know. We have now arrived at the tower. This is the first and main social space in the game of Destiny. It's pretty much where you have to go to advance the story, collect daily bounties, any items that you may have collected but not actually physically picked up, some vendors, people who sell using real currency or in-game currency, things like armor shaders, things like colors. Remember the godlike sky orb I mentioned, the Traveler, in my earlier video? Well, there it is, right there. It is safeguarding humanity and humanity's last city, which you can see here off in the distance. Lots of rumors as to where exactly the last city on Earth is, but considering the Cosmodrome is the first place you go in this game, and the Cosmodrome is, of course, in Russia, yeah, it's a pretty good bet that the tower is somewhere in or near Russia. There was a theory for a while, I heard, that it was actually in, like, Baffin Island, Canada, which is just funny, but I don't know. So anyway, we're in the tower. There's lots that you can see and do here. Most people who might be watching this either are quite familiar with the tower or, are quite familiar with a MMO social space. So I'm just going to kind of play around with a couple of neat little things here. You got this purple beach volleyball thing, which seems to not obey the laws of physics entirely, or it's filled with some kind of gas that causes it to just lose inertia for some reason. One of my favorite things to do with this ball is try to land on it, because if you're able to actually land on it, your player generally doesn't know what to do with himself, and he just starts running in place. And yeah, I find it really hilarious, because I get bored like that. My friends are going through their inventories and switching out weapons, and I'm already pretty much set, because I'm a simpleton. And at least with inventory. Where did that go? Oh, there it is. So I find little stupid things like this to do in the tower. And then you generally get the person who sees what you're trying to do, and they kick the ball away from you, and they kick it off the edge. Like I'm about to do. There we go. Oh. Person. Nah. If you get it right, you start running in place on the ball completely without controlling it, and you'll stay that way. If you start running on it, you can taunt, you can do your dances, you can do whatever, and then you'll immediately go back to running in place. It's weird, and to someone like me, it's a little bit amusing. Well, I'm not going to get that now. There's also a soccer ball hidden around this this space, but I rarely find it. There's a couple of cool other things, like there's some vents up here. Nice. Right here, in fact. And if someone stands over there on that balcony and pushes a certain button, the vent will just blow you up into the air. That's the kind of fun Destiny has to offer. One of my favorite things to do when I'm bored, again, and I'm waiting for people to choose item stuff and, pick up certain things from certain vendors, it's unfortunately something I think is really fun, but nobody else can see it other than me. And here it is right here. Hold on. I'm going to get it. There we go. So basically, I'm playing with an Xbox controller, and if I push the two analog sticks left and right together, then my character starts sliding across the ground like this without moving his feet. And I think it's hilarious, and I tried it a couple of times hoping that to everyone else I appeared to be some kind of glitchy sliding ghost. But unfortunately on everyone else's screen it looks like I'm doing this. I can't even like replicate it. It just looks like I'm going nuts. So anyway, we're going to go talk to Xur. It's the weekend, so this character known as Xur, who's an agent of the Nine, appears in the tower every weekend from deep space. Don't really know much about him other than he sells some pretty cool stuff. There's a couple of videos out right now already detailing what's in the what Xur is selling. He's selling legendary engrams. He's selling. I'm actually gonna buy a couple of these. How many marks do I have? 100 and something. Can't see. Yeah, I have 169 marks. Things usually cost 13 or 23, so I should be good to go. And then what's the cheapest? That, yeah. At this point, I don't really need anything that Xur sells other than the exotic items. And by the items, I don't actually mean these physical things. I mean the shards. If you want to update something in Destiny, you have to spend components to do it. The highest level of weapon or armor in the game is called exotic. That's the classification that it is. And in order to upgrade exotic items, you need exotic shards, which are made by breaking down previous exotic items. Anyway, blah blah blah, boring. So, this is Shaxx. He runs the Crucible. That's the multiplayer arena. I never really noticed this bone here before. It's not Ahamkara, is it? Anybody familiar with Destiny lore knows that the Ahamkara are a race of, I don't know, wish-fulfilling dragons that we hunted to extinction. There's a lot of weird stuff in the lore, and everybody argues over it. One of my other favorite things to do is just sit here. Just sit in this chair. People run by all the time. They don't even notice you. And I just like appearing like I'm part of the background. It's kind of fun. Anyway, just going to round up this tour by going to look at some famous people. If you're a fan of the show Fringe, I can't remember his name. It's like Jason Reddick or something. Commander Zavala is voiced by this actor who played, was it Commander, Lieutenant, Sergeant Broyles, the one heading up the Fringe division. And you've got Cayde Six, voiced by Nathan Fillion. Always a lot of fun to hear his voice lines. The funniest thing about Cayde Six is that he was very reluctantly recruited into the Vanguard that run the tower and defend the city, and all he really wants to do is get back out and adventure, but he realizes he is also the best one for this job. And then I can't remember the voice actor, or I can't remember the actress's name, but if you watch Firefly at all, you will be very familiar with Zoe. And if you play a Warlock and speak with Ikora Rey, lead Warlock Vanguard in the tower, you will hear a familiar voice. Anyway, yeah, there's not much else to really talk about here in the tower. The vendors pretty much stay the same, and as you play the game, you have to return often to collect all of your different weapons and new items. And anyway, I will sign off on this. Hopefully this stream works. The last one I had was quite blotchy, so I apologize for that. And per Audacia ad Astra, my friends. See you next time.